Welcome to Fun to Be Fit Over 50, real health and wellness that fits your real life. My name is Carol Denman, and this is where knowledge meets action. You already know what to do. Now let's talk about actually doing it. Welcome back to Fun to Be Fit Over 50. I'm your host, Carol Denman. This is where we go beyond generic advice of eat less, move more, and dive into the real lived experiences of men and women who are redefining what it means to be fit, healthy, and vibrant after 50. Today, we are going back to the beginning. My guest is my dear friend, Rhonda Kirwan. And when I think of Rhonda, I think of one word: discipline. We met decades ago. She was a mom finding the time for herself again, looking in the mirror and trying to figure out how to get her body back. Her journey started, like many of ours, with the desire to feel better, but it took a sharp turn one day on the couch when a young son delivered a piece of honest feedback that would change her life. He called her squishy. That one word ignited a fire, and what followed was a masterclass in discipline. It launched her into the intense, structured world of figure competitions, where she learned the power of showing up, the challenge of cold fish and asparagus, and the mental battle of comparing herself to others on a sequin stage. But her story didn't end on stage. It evolved. She traded the competition suit for running shoes, embarking on a streak of discipline that has defied all logic. She has run at least 1 mile every single day for the last 12 years. And in 2025 alone, she covered an astonishing 2,500 miles. Through it all, she found a new passion and purpose. She became a master trainer at Club Pilates, teaching 12 classes a week and training other instructors. She discovered that the mindful, core-focused strength of Pilates was the perfect complement to her high-intensity running, keeping her hips and knees happy and healthy. It's the discipline of a true athlete. Today, Rhonda has a 360-degree view of fitness. She's been the client seeking healing, the competitor chasing a trophy, the endurance athlete testing her limits, and now the master teacher guiding others. Her philosophy shifted from how do I look to what can my body do? And it's all built on a foundation of unwavering discipline. I am so excited for you to hear her story. We talk about the real reason she never misses a day of running, the one thing she wishes everyone over 50 would stop saying about their bodies, and how she defines fun to be fit at this stage of life. Grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Here is my incredible friend, the living embodiment of dedication, Rhonda Kirwan. Let's go back to the beginning. We met decades ago. Can you describe the person you were then, especially in your relationship with fitness and your own well-being?
Yes. So way back when, I was not really a new mom, but like a mom that had like middle schoolers or like elementary kid school age. And so I was just now finding time for myself again and starting to look at my body again and like, okay, now I've got some time to figure out how to try to fix it or make it better or like regain my youth or whatever you want to call it. And so I was starting to explore new things. Where I'm at now, like my kids are grown, one's married, one's engaged. And so now I can be very intentional about my fitness and my thoughts of what I want out of my fitness is like, I want longevity in my life. Like I'm no longer looking for that. Oh, I want my body to look like this. It's more like I want my body to be able to do this. So I want to be able to be like in my 80s and 90s, still running, still out there doing things. And back when I first, way back when I was just like, okay, can I get my body back after having kids and like no time to myself? And it was more of a perception of myself. Like when I looked in the mirror, I thought that's what I was, where now I'm like, I'm not what I see in the mirror, if that makes sense. I'm more like, I'm actually a person that's not just the picture. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Love that. I love that so much. I think that that's just one of the things that actually comes with age as well. But I love that you recognize that and that you see the change and stuff. It's awesome. Love that. So you've shared that after your son was born, that you battled with depression and you discovered that working out was like the fix.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that discovery?
So, like growing up, I was active. I was a gymnast. I was a cheerleader. So I did work out, if you will, back in the 80s, whatever that looked like. But then when I had my first son, the postpartum probably started a little bit then, but I didn't really recognize it until I had my second. And then I just like, there's these dark clouds that I just could not get rid of. Like I was stuck in this storm that was just like, I just didn't want to do anything anymore. And it got to a point where I literally called my husband. I'm like, hey, I think I need some help. And so we found me a doctor and I went and chatted with him and several times. And his plan was, here, take this and this will make you feel better and help you get rid of the clouds and, or the storm, really. I realized that I didn't want to take something for the rest of my life because that was kind of what his plan was. And I realized he's like, well, you're going to have to, if you don't want to take it, like you've got to find some way to get rid of the storm. Right. And we, you journal and you do all the things, but like it still wasn't working.
Mhm.
And so I started working out more. Like I did my Fitbit, my step videos. I did, Denise Austin and Cher and all those, and realized that if I could actually get them, do them, I felt way better afterwards. And that feeling would last, 24, 48 hours. And then I would go do it again and I'd feel better. And so I realized that when I worked out, it created something, I'm sure there's technical terms and, big medical terms that explain all that. But the reality was I felt better after I worked out. And I realized that if I continued to work out, and it didn't have to be like the same kind of workout, it just had to be physical activity, like get out there in the sunshine and walk and hike and whatever, and or do your video or, just get exercise like that, kept the storm at bay. And
Mhm.
then the more that I was intentional about my workouts, the better, like the further away the storm got, then I could like love on my kids again and, like do things with my kids again and my husband. And I slowly, you know, like I can see the clouds in the distance sometimes, but they're like, so it's a much different place than I am now. So it started with a conversation, started with drugs. Well, that's the best term, I guess. But, and then like, I didn't want to do that forever. So I
Right.
had to figure out a way and exercise was it. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. That's what a good like testimonial for the power of movements,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Wow,
Movement
that's
heals. Yeah. It totally
yeah,
does.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the squishy comment is iconic. When your son delivered that honest feedback, what was your initial reaction and how did that moment become a catalyst to pick up weights and shift your training focus?
Okay. So set the stage. Son and I, my youngest, was sitting next to me on the couch and I don't know, we were watching TV or something. And he, poked me on my thigh and he's like, Mom, Dad's muscles are hard, but your muscles are squishy. And I was like, what? In my head, like, I think it's spun. I was like, what did you say? And he's like, you're kind of squishy. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, 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 no. And like that, like ignited a fire inside me that like, I don't know, like I went crazy because in our house we're kind of competitive and like I can't be squishy and my husband muscles like not happening. So then I literally, I don't know if Google was a thing. Somehow I found you and I saw that you'd been posting or like sending emails or something where you would say, we're doing uh competition workouts, or you were showing pictures of people that were standing on stage and all these. And I was like, okay, that that is not squishy. That's what I want to be. And so I reached out and I'm like, time is ticking. Like I got to get rid of the squishy body. Let's fix it. And then you're like, well, I'm probably gonna have to pick up a weight or two because I wasn't doing weights. Like I didn't go to the gym. I did fitness videos, and so I met you and I started, remember the circuit class that we used to do where you would like the timer would say, okay, 30 seconds or whatever. And we would go to the next thing. That's kind of how I started. And then the pictures came out and I was like, okay, like we're going to go from this to like, I'm going to stand on a stage. And there you go. That's how it worked.
I
It's
love
very
it.
crazy.
I love it. Okay.
And all the times that okay, I'm sure we're going to get there, but during, all the competition stuff that you have to do, like the discipline of the diet and the going to the gym and all that, like my kids would be like, my gosh, you're eating chicken again? And I'd be like, yes. And this is all because of CJ, because he said I was squishy. If he hadn't said I wasn't squishy, we wouldn't be eating chicken and rice every single day. We would be eating something else. But no, now we're eating chicken and rice every day. So that's how that started.
Love it. I love it.
It's all CJ's fault.
Okay. So your journey moved from mental health to getting stronger. And then you took it to a competitive stage with figure competitions. What
Yes.
sparked that decision to step on stage?
I don't know. I was just intrigued by the transformations of the bodies. Like you would show a before and an after, and I could see myself in their befores, and I wanted to see my after. And I'm pretty disciplined, and like, you give me a goal and I'll do it, and I'll do everything I can to make it happen. And so I was just like, I wanted to have that after photo. I wanted to, see what I could do. And I knew it would give me a structure to my workouts. It would give me a structure to my workouts where like there was a purpose to going to the gym and lifting the weights. Like, and I needed that. Like I needed a reason to go do whatever it was I was going to do. Like I needed purpose. And that after picture, that was what I was looking for.
I love it. Yeah. And I'd like to just clarify, Rhonda, you're extremely disciplined, not pretty disciplined. You're extremely disciplined.
Yeah, maybe.
If not the most disciplined person I've ever met, you are one of them for sure. So, yes.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment. So
It is. Well, people are going to hear more about your discipline as we get talking. So, okay. So for our viewers that may not know, what does preparing for a competition actually entail? Like, what did that, like, if you were to explain it to somebody, what would you say it entails?
You have, first of all, you have to realize that your schedule is going to change. So like if you are somebody that, you got a 9 to 5 and maybe you've got kids, like if you're going to take on a figure competition goal, like you've got to be really structured with your time and with your sacrifice you're not going to be able to just, sit on the couch or, like I'm too tired today, I'm just going to scroll on my phone. Like that's not a thing. Like you have to be very structured and disciplined, and you have to be willing to be uncomfortable with how your life is going until you sit on stage, or stand on stage. Like it's not. And I remember back in the phase of like that stage in my life when I was doing those, like it was sometimes very uncomfortable. It was very tiring and exhausting and like all these things. But I knew it was only for a short period of time. And I knew that there was a end goal, and I can do anything for a short amount of time if I know what's at the end, right? So I would tell everybody, just do it once. Just try it once. Like if you feel like you're out of control with your diet or you're working out or whatever, like go do a figure competition, because like everything has to become structured. Like you kind of lose all sense of like you are no longer in control. The plan is the control, right? Yeah. And you would always tell me like, just trust the plan. Because sometimes you're like looking at the plan, you're like, dude, that actually sucks. I don't want to do that. And you're like, you've got to trust the plan. Like it's going to work. You're going to be fine. Just keep going. So I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that if your body is out of control, like in your mind, you think you're out of control, then go try to do a figure competition, because that'll like get you into control. And so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a reset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not even reset, because I don't know if necessarily you were set in competition mode before, so it's not a reset.
No.
But yeah. I love
it's just
that.
like a way to just gain control. And you don't have to do it forever. Like you could just do one, or you could do it for like a couple of weeks and realize like there's a lot of discipline in this sport. Like, it is not just for the faint of heart. It is like, it's serious and it's like hardcore. And you will learn a lot about yourself and what really matters in your life, how much you really, really hate cold fish. I ate a lot of cold fish. So there you go.
That's
So bad.
awesome. What kind of fish?
Remember when I was eating tilapia,
Mm-hmm.
and I ate tilapia, and because you have to eat it on the, certain amounts of time, if you're out somewhere and there's not like a place to microwave, you got to eat literally cold fish, cold asparagus, and rice. Like, that's what you're eating, and you're going to like it. You're going to do it again in a couple more hours. So just get ready. Like, that's your life. So
I love it.
like,
Brings back so many memories. I love it.
I know, right? Like,
It really
there's
does.
certain things that I will never forget, and that is one of them.
So, how did that intense focus on physique affect your relationship with your body compared to when you were training for mental health or just strength?
Well, when you train, or when I trained for the competitions, like, I became very critical of my body, very like, I compared myself to other people all the time. So for me, that was like the downside of the competition part, because I became very critical and very in like comparison mode all the time. Where when I was in mental health, I was like, I wanted to get tone, or, I just wanted to look better and feel better and like not wear my maternity pants anymore type of thing. Going into the competition, like, I took a deeper focus on what I looked like. And it wasn't more about how I felt. It was more about, what did I look like and how did I look like compared to somebody else? And so that is kind of like the bummer of it for me, because you're standing on a stage, like in this sequined string, comparing yourself to other people in sequined strings, so, and that I wish I could have like not had to do. Like, so that was like the rough part of the competition, was that I was so focused on the way I looked and not the way I felt. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, there's so much truth in that. There's so much truth
Yeah.
in that. And to be able to untangle that like you have,
Yeah.
and I have too, is, I mean, it's a mess. It's a tangled mess, but once you untangle it, it's like then you can look back at it like you have,
Yeah.
where you see the value in doing it because of the discipline and the like
Yes.
discovery of yourself. I love it.
Yes. I would definitely not have done it. Like, I would still, even though that like took me to a dark place mentally sometimes, like, I'd still go through it. I would still do it all. I think I did 6 competitions. I would still do all 6, because every competition I learned something more about myself. And by the time I got done, I realized that I didn't have to compare myself to somebody else. I could just be happy with the way I looked and the way how I felt on stage. And so, like, I needed 6 of those competitions to get there to that point. And then when I stepped away from it, I could see that I could appreciate my body for what it can do and how much better it feels when when I'm strong and when I'm healthy, versus when I was, eating my kids, cold waffles to try to, clean up the plate. So even though it took me to places that were mentally kind of challenging, like, I would still do it again, because I learned so much. And when I came out on the other side, like, I'm a stronger person mentally and physically because of that journey that I went through. So it was still really important for me to do all the things, feel all the things, go through all the things. I learned so much about myself and about others. Like, we're all so different, but we're yet also saying the same. So, I don't know. I'd do it again. Not, well,
Yeah.
not right now, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like in that
Yeah.
phase of your life, you would probably take the same road,
Yeah.
because of everything you learned. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the most challenging part of competition prep and the most rewarding thing you took away?
The most challenging was staying on the routine that was created. Like, we meal prepped. My husband and I would meal prep on Sundays for the week. And then I planned out like when I was going to go to the gym, because I was working and had kids. Like, I had to schedule when I was going to go to the gym, and we went to the gym twice a day. I went in the morning and then I'd go back at night. And so there was the structure, the routine sometimes became exhausting, because like you had to like when your coach would tell you, okay, here's a cheat meal. You get that cheat meal for like 15 minutes, like, and you're done being a cheat meal, right? Like it's over. Your rest day wasn't really a rest day because you were still doing all the like the food stuff and like you were never really resting and not having to think about it because you were always thinking about it. So that was the hard part, was once you knew the routine, like you were dialed in and you needed to be dialed in for the next, like, I remember one of my competitions was like 111 days. And I was like, okay, for the next 111 days, this is my life. And that sometimes was hard because, other things, life happens, kids get sick or, somebody wants to throw a party and they, it's all about the, Mexican fiesta or whatever. And you're like, dude, seriously? I can have chicken. So like, you don't get to participate in some stuff that you want to participate. Like no more guacamole. Like you don't get that. Like too bad, so sad. Like not having it. And that margarita, no, you don't get that either. So, okay, whatever. So that was the hard part. I guess the best part was like not being on stage and like, because that was too stressful mentally for me because there was like all that pressure of everybody's like looking at you and like, are you going to be, pulled out into the middle or are you going to be sent off to the side? The best part was the after, when all the competition was over and everybody was done and we were back in the rooms and stuff. And then we went out to eat, like where everybody could finally celebrate like what we just did and what we had just accomplished. That was the best part, where the judging was over. Now we could just like be happy and be okay with eating cold pizza and like you could, and just celebrate each other and how everybody looked and how we felt and like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And then your family is like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, I don't know, like the stepping off the stage and knowing that it was over, that was like the best part because then you could actually like, I could actually celebrate what had happened. So that was the best part.
Probably like a huge sense of pride and,
Yeah.
all of that,
Yeah. Like
all that hard work. Yes.
Yeah. Like now I actually look like the trophy, right? Like,
Yes.
woo-hoo! So that was good. Yeah.
I love it. Love it. At some point, you made a major shift into Pilates and have become a master trainer with Club Pilates, teaching 12 classes a week and training other instructors. What drew you to Pilates, especially after high intensity worlds of weight training and competing?
So when I got done competing, I still went to the gym for a little bit, but I sort of, just softened my workouts a little bit. And then I got into running, and with my running, I needed like more of a stretch or a feel good type of a workout. And I'd heard a lot about Pilates. One of my friends tried it and she's like, it's awesome, you should go. So I finally booked myself into an intro, went to that, and like immediately felt like it spoke to my body. It was like it was challenging, but it was very like restorative, I guess is the right word. I got a membership and I literally started doing Pilates, reformer Pilates, like 5 days a week. And then the more Pilates I was doing, the better like my hips and my knees started feeling when I was running. And so it like was transformative for my body in that way. And then I was like, well, I've always kind of been like, when I had done running, when I was just running, I started like this running group and we called it Team Rockstar. And I would, host these runs and we would do like secret stairs here in La Mesa, or I started doing like these little boot camp thingies on the weekends. And so like I had this little group that we'd all get together and they just kind of like follow my lead and super fun. So when I was going to the Pilates classes, I could kind of see myself as an instructor there. And so I joined the teacher training program. And then my plan was like, oh, this will take me about 2 years. But I got involved because I'm like, when I go in, I go in. I was done. I started teaching like 6 months later. And then I was a instructor. And then I found my way into the lead instructor role. And then next thing I know, now I'm a master trainer. And now I like Pilates is my passion. I love it. and it allows me to run almost injury free but do things that I can help other people, because not everybody wants to run. Not everybody wants to do Pilates either. So I get the runners and I get the Pilates peeps. So it's worked out really well for me.
Yeah, I love that. And I set these questions up ahead of time, so I don't even know if I put. I don't think I put this question in here, but I have a question. So,
Okay.
first of all, I love the fact that you recognized how much it helped with your knees and your hips by adding
Hmm.
Pilates to your running. That
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
that right there that needs to be like blasted out as like a testimonial and ad. Like honestly,
Yeah.
of just the power of it, because maybe even if somebody's not even a runner, if they walk and they have knee and hip pain, if they hear that
Yeah.
Pilates might be able to help that, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
question is, so you said to me that you said something like you have ran every day for the last 12 years. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about that.
In so
Yeah.
in 2010, my son, he was the squishy kid, right? He was on a youth cross country team and he decided he wanted to run a marathon. And this was back before I was a runner. I thought running was like a really bad idea. Like, why would you do that? That sounds awful. But he decided he was going to run this marathon, right? And so I told my friend, who she was going through a rough time, and she's like, well, you and I should run a marathon. And I was like, well, no, because I don't run. And do you know how long a marathon is? Like, it's 26 miles. Like, we're not going to do that. Anyway, long story short, we ended up doing a marathon. And then, because of the way I do things, I like would find running challenges. I'm like, oh, like the one running challenge was like, you run a mile every day for the month of January. Oh, I can do that. And I did that. And then I started running, like run 1,000 miles in a year. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. So I ran 1,000 miles in a year. Then there was another challenge that I did where I came up with this idea of running the month of September. So September, I don't remember what year, but I ran 1 mile for each day of the month. So September 1st, I ran 1 mile. Second, I ran 2, on and on until I got, September 26th, I was running 26 miles, 27. Throughout the whole month of September, I ended up running like 465 miles. And I was like, woohoo, right? But like my
That's
legs were dying. Talk about a full-time job to run that many miles in 1 month. It was like crazy. When I finished that, one of my friends, who was a friend with the lady who got me started into running, she's like, hey, you've started a real streak. Because by this time I was like, because I went through September and then I finished I did a couple more weeks. And she's like, you're doing what they call a streak. And I was like, well, what's that? And she's like, well, you run 1 mile every day and there's like this group. And so I Googled them and I found them and I was like, whoa, that's like actually a thing. If once you run a consecutive mile every day for a solid year, you can join this club. It's called the Streakers International something or other, and Runners Association, I think it is. And I was like, well, let's try that. But because of my like overuse of my muscles, I had to like stop my streak and quit for a little bit. And then I was like, oh, all right, I need something again, right? Like I need something. And so in 2014, came up with this great idea. I called it the Great Streak, where my goal was to run 1 mile a day every day in January, 2 miles a day every day in February, 3 in March, on and on and on. So I'd get down to December and I'd be running 12 miles a day. Not like in a row. Like I would run at least 1 mile and then maybe 3 or 4 and then whatever. Anyway, so I decided to try that. I got all the way to November. This is 2014. I got all the way to November and like I was dying. Like I did a lot of treadmill running and it was bad. And so in November, I had to I remember I stopped my treadmill and like, I can't do this anymore, but I can still run 1 mile a day. I just can't run 11. So I kept my streak, right? And so I continued. And then in 2017, I ran 2,017 miles for the year. And I just kept going. And so I started that streak in January 1st, 2014. And to this day, I already did it this morning. I've ran at least 1 mile every day for now. I just started my 13th year. So
That's
there's that.
it seems, I mean, I know you, so I know it's believable, but it just seems so unbelievable. Like I was trying, I did a post in my Fun to be Fit Over 50 Facebook group, and I was talking about like the people that I have already interviewed, and then that I had you upcoming next week. This was last week. And I was like, and she has run every day for the last 12 years. I didn't remember the details of it, that it was 1 mile. Like that's amazing. That needs to be in your like I know this, I don't know. It needs to be like in your little bio in like Instagram of like, I have run every 1 mile every day for the last now 13 years. Just because
Yeah.
who can say that?
Yeah. What's crazy, Carol, what's crazy is if you look at this group, there's people that, men and women, who I think like the longest streak has probably been 59 years. So like, I'm just like one of many, running crazy
Wow.
people. But if you think about it, like a mile, sometimes like I can run a mile. I think my fastest mile is like some 8 something or whatever. But like the reality is a mile will take me 10 to 12 minutes usually. That 10 to 12 minutes is my medication. That keeps the clouds away.
Yeah.
That keeps my storm away. And that's my daily dose. And if I got to do it for the rest of my life, that's what I want to be able to do. And so Pilates helps me stay strong. Me adding, weight training and other things into my life helps me keep taking my medication, which is running that simple mile every day. So it's like, it's all kind of coming together, and like, I got to stay healthy so I can still take my medication. So I don't have to take actual medication, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Love it. So, how does teaching 12 plus classes a week physically and mentally interact with your own running and training? Is it complementary or is it a challenge, like to balance, or both?
well, the perception is that as Pilates instructors, we're out there actually doing Pilates 12 times. The reality is I'm pacing up and down, between reformers, teaching people, verbally cueing people to do Pilates. So I'm not physically doing Pilates during those 12 classes. But because I have to be paying attention to 12 people and I need them to, stay safe and do the correct things, or as close to correct as humanly possible, like I've got to be on my game all the time. And because I'm a firm believer of I want to teach what I know. So I do have to practice, keep my Pilates practice up. I do have to know what it feels like in my body so that I can then turn that around and teach other people and know how to explain, like, I know what you're feeling. So it's very complementary to my running and my own Pilates practice, is me then taking it into the studio and teaching other people how to do it. And it's a great, I tried to create a community of people in my classes where they can rely on each other for accountability, for support, for laughter, for, like sometimes what I make them do is hard. And I tell them all the time, like, sometimes you just got to do hard things. Like, if you want to be able to do this for a long time, like, you got to do hard things. You got to pick up heavy stuff. You got to push heavy stuff. You got to pull heavy stuff. Like, that's life. Like, you got to be able to do hard things. And I'm going to help you do it here so that when you walk out the doors, you can do it out there in your own life. And so it's been very complementary to me. At one time, I was teaching 29 classes a week, and that was a lot because that was hard for me to get my own time in. But now that it's down to 12 for group classes, and then I take other time for teaching instructors how to teach, it's worked out beautifully for my life, and it's very complementary to how I live my own life. So that's how it works. Does that make sense?
That's great. Yeah. I love it. I love that. It's like you've got this big sense of wisdom that like you've kind of like figured out with like the competing, and how you've kind of figured out what part of that life works in your life day to day. And then same thing with running and then Pilates, and
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome. Really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So as a master trainer, you see bodies all day long. What is the number one thing you notice about the way people over 50 move or don't move that you wish they could change?
I think that what I see is that the people that come into my studio, or our studio, I should say, I don't want to say it's like my own, but they feel like they just can't do things. that, they're, oh my gosh, I got aches and pains and I got this and that. And I'm just like, I just can't, like, they don't have that belief in themselves that regardless of what they look like, we can all feel better if we just get moving. I'm trained to ask people like, what do how's your body feeling today? Do you got any aches and pains or any injuries? And I let them tell me that. But then like, I tend to like, I don't want to say ignore, but like, to me, it's just noise. I like, don't think about the things that are hindering you. Think about like how much fun we're going to have in the next 50 minutes. Let that go. If something hurts or something like you feel like you can't do something, just let that go. Let's find movement. Let's see what we can do and let's see how we can progress. And so that's the thing that drives me crazy when people come in and they're like, oh, I got this and I got that and I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's just noise.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. Let's get you moving because that's what's going to make you feel better. That's what's going to make life better for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what drives me crazy about people that come into the studio and they've got these, like, for whatever reason, they believe they can't, or they hurt there and they hurt everything's like hurts or uncomfortable. Like, just let that go. Let's find movement and we'll make it work.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, love it. So Pilates is famous for core strength and mindful movement. How have Pilates principles directly influenced or protected your ability to maintain your running streak or avoid injury?
Well, a lot of ways, right? Because it is about core strength and it is about finding that mind body connection. So the more Pilates that I do and the more that I focus on how my body's feeling and what movement patterns am I looking for, I can then take that to my running without like I run like, how can I say this? Like, I don't have to think about running, right? Like, I can just go run and, my body knows what to do. I've been doing it for a long time. Do I feel like some pains? Yes. But like, I don't have to think like, okay, I got to put this foot here, this arm there. Like, I don't have to think about that. I can just go run. Pilates in the beginning, like, I had to like figure out where's my body at in space? How do I move my arms? How do I move my legs? How do I keep my core engaged? Like all those things. And so I became very body focused to learn the practice. And because of that, now when I run, my mind and my body kind of like can come together and it helps me, like I stand taller. I keep my, core engaged when I run, but not because I'm thinking about it now because I've done Pilates for a while, but now like everything's kind of coming together. So what I learned in Pilates has definitely enhanced my running. What I learned from running has helped me figure out why I want to do Pilates. Like I wanted to find that more mind body connection and take it into my running.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I love that. Yes. And that, I mean, just like the fact you said at the beginning when you were talking about how you realized that like your knees and your hips weren't hurting once you started doing Pilates more regularly, like just recognizing that and
Yeah.
then now knowing that with that wisdom and stuff,
Yeah.
that's really great. So with your pack schedule, your running streak becomes even more incredible. You run every day, you teach Pilates consistently, and you ran 2,025 miles in 2025. How do you physically and logistically fit all of this in? Is running now your me time?
Yes. Well, yes and no. Last year I was trying to run the great streak again and do the 1 mile every day in January, 2 in February and all that stuff. So that was going to get me to like 2,025 miles. And then I got to December and I was like, oh, I'm pretty close to 2,500. So I'll just add on a couple more miles a day and I'll do 2,500 miles. So I finished the streak for real last year, 2025. And like I had to become
I'm
very
sorry.
like kind of like, yes.
Wait, so you ran more than 2025? You ran 2,500 miles? How many miles did you
Yes.
run in 2025?
2,500. I think it was actually
So,
2,501, but yeah, 2,500.
so you
So
went
here's the
above and
story.
beyond.
So yes. So 2014, I started my running streak, right? And then like last October, I was like, I need another big challenge. Maybe I'll try that great streak again because, what else I got to do, right? So I set the goal of running my great streak again in 2025. And I knew that if I did the streak, I would hit the 2025 miles, which is kind of like, they call it run the year, where you run 2025 in the year. And so I knew I was going to hit that, and I was probably going to end up like with 2,400 miles roughly if you do the actual mileage. But my goal was not to do 2,500. It was just to do my streak. So I hit the 2025 like in November, I think it was, and I still had a whole month of December to go. And somebody said to me like, "Hey, are you going to run 2,500?" And I was like, "No, because that's not my goal." But then December, I think it was like 13th, I happened to look at started calculating, and I was like, oh, I'm only like maybe, I'm going to get pretty close. I'm only going to be like maybe 60 or 70 miles away from hitting 2,500. So if I just add another mile or two every day from December 13th through the 31st, I'll actually hit 2,500 miles. So it wasn't intentional until December. And then I was running 13 miles, 16 miles, 14, 15, that last 2 weeks. So I would hit 2,500. Yes,
Wow.
I ran 2,500 miles. My goal was originally just to do my streak, but then I hit the 2025, and there's like, I entered these like little groups, and I got medals that say you ran 2,025 miles, and like a shirt, and like, I'm all about the bling. So like,
I
I'll
love
do
it.
that. So, but then I ran 2,500, and that's even cooler. How I structure that, that's what we were talking about, is the time commitment, and like, how do you do it with, like, I just had to plan, because it was kind of like competition, right? Like when you've got to figure out how to get into the gym, 4 or 5 hours a day, make your meals, do all the things that you need to do for that. Like you have to, like, I just had to do the same. So when I was running 12 miles a day, I wasn't running them all at one time, because that would take me a good, 2.5 hours. So I had to plan, like I'd get up early in the morning, I'd go to the track, I'd run 5 miles in the morning, I'd go teach, I'd come home at my lunchtime, I would run 2 or 3 miles in the midday, and then I'd go teach again, and then I'd come home after teaching and finish whatever miles I had done. So I was running sometimes 3 times a day. This is pumpkin, by the way. Or sometimes I'd run in the morning, then I'd run after I got done teaching. Or I would, you just have to plan something. And like my son got married. So that wedding weekend, like I literally had to get up. I was running 8 miles a day that in August. So I'd have to get up like the morning of the wedding. I'm like, can you put me in for my makeup and my hair like as late as humanly possible? Because I got to go run 8 miles in the morning. You have to plan it, and you have to be focused and disciplined, and you got to think ahead. Like, you know what I mean? And if it's like sometimes if I'm only running 1 mile, it's maybe 10, 12 minutes. Like you can do anything for 10, 12 minutes. If I didn't have a treadmill, it'd be a little bit more challenging, because I'd have to go run out on the streets. And in El Cajon here, it's, like there's hills everywhere you look. So that would suck. But I have a treadmill, so I can just go on my treadmill and run my miles. So,
Yeah.
but you just have to be disciplined. Like you have to just, schedule it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Schedule it and honor that schedule, right?
Okay, get down. Yes. Like it's one of like my family knows, like if there's things that we're planning, like, did you run today, Mom? Yes, I already got it done. Or like, are you gonna have to run after this? No, I got it. Like they all know, because it's just part of what we do. Well, what I do, that we got to make sure that Mom gets her mile in, because that's important for everybody.
Yeah. That leads me right into my next question. So, for over 12 years of running every single day, what is the real reason you never missed a day?
The real reason, because I wouldn't want to let myself down. Like it's just like a part of me. Like I think if I didn't run, I would feel like something was missing. Like I remember way back when I was coming up on day 400. So like now I'm at 4,000 and some days, I don't know, 300, I don't know, over 4,000 days. Way back when I was coming up on day 400, I was like, oh, I think I'll just stop on day 400, because that's like a good round number. And I woke up day 400 and I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'll keep running. So then I just kept running because it felt good. And then I was like, okay, well, day 600, that'll be a good day to stop, right? Because that's another round number. So as I was coming up on day 600, I woke up and I was like, my body's feeling pretty good. I think I'll still run. And then I've just never asked myself or given myself any reason to stop. Just it's just what I do, and I can't imagine not doing it. And maybe there's a tiny fear that if I didn't run, then I would like lose some sort of control over my mental health, maybe.
Hmm.
So, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep
Yeah.
running. So,
Yeah. It's like you
so
said
I've run
before,
sick. I've run, tired. Yeah.
you said before, it's like your medicine that you're not taking, it's so yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So you have a unique 360-degree view. A client, a competitor, an endurance athlete, a master teacher. How would you define your fitness philosophy today for women in our age group?
I think that it is super important for everybody to move, regardless of whatever your limitations are. Maybe it's, weight, or maybe it's something maybe is missing or whatever. Like everybody needs to move because movement, I really believe, heals. It heals you mentally, it heals you physically. I've seen it in my own body. Definitely movement helps my mental capacity for life. Definitely movement helps keep me physically fit. I feel better when I'm moving. I feel better when I know I've done a workout. And that's what I try to share with anybody, that like no matter how you feel, you can still find a way to move. Like even if it's go for a walk, and maybe it's only like down your driveway and back up, or maybe it's, across the parking lot. Like just do it, and just maybe then do it again the next day and again and again, and find ways to make movement part of your life. And then once you get moving, then maybe you find more purpose in the movement. Maybe then you're like, okay, I'm going to, walk a mile, or you know what, I'm going to join a YMCA, and I'm going to go take water aerobics. Like find a purpose in your movement, then that can translate to purpose in how it affects your body, right? So you got to find the movement, and then you find purpose in the movement, and then it will translate to how it affects your body, and it will change your life. For me, like it saved my life, and it continues to. I really feel that if I stopped running and I was unable to work out, like I don't know where I'd go mentally. It would probably be pretty dark. And I don't want anybody to be in that situation. We can all avoid that if we can just get up and move. And I don't know. That's how I feel.
All right. So what is your advice for someone over 50 who wants to start a consistent fitness practice but doesn't know where to begin? Like, what's the ideal blend in your expert opinion of like cardio, strength, mindful movement, like Pilates? Like, what would you suggest?
Well, I know there's like guidelines where you're supposed to, like I think do 150 minutes a week of like cardio fitness, and maybe I think it's like 75 minutes of strength training of some sort. So I think those are like rough guidelines. But the reality is you have to start where you're willing to go. So find, if you like walking, then you have to add walking as a purposeful movement in your life. Maybe you get a friend and you have an accountability buddy and you go walk together, or you have a treadmill and you get on the treadmill and you actually use it rather than as a, thing that you hang clothes on or whatever. But you have to find something that you're willing to do, and something that you're comfortable doing. Comfortable as meaning like you're willing to put on the shoes and go do the thing. Maybe you and a friend go to the gym or join the YMCA, or, look up, what's it, Zumba or jazzercise. I keep seeing commercials for jazzercise. Maybe that's a sign or something. I don't know. But like you have to find something that you are willing to do, even if it's for a short amount of time, and just start. And then hopefully the more you do, or the more you're willing to do it, the more you'll end up doing. So finding a little bit of cardio, if that's what you're looking for, walking, maybe giving a run a bit of a go, joining a group class, because the tendency is if you join a group class, you're more apt to go because there's people expecting you to come. Or maybe you don't want to be out in the public, so go get a video. YouTube has thousands of influencers on it that you can use, but you have to start with something that you're willing to do, something you kind of like, and just keep doing it even on the days you don't want to do it. And that's like the key. Like you got to just get up, get moving, and keep doing it. Like you can't like, oh, I'm sore. So like everybody's sore. Get up and go. Right. So I'm like not the most empathetic person because I've run through a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of things and like, you're sore. That's not a thing. Like, get up. Let's go. Come on. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll
Work
be fine.
through it.
Come on. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to leave your house till all the lights are red, right? You'll never leave. So if you're waiting to like till you don't feel sore or you don't feel bad, then you'll never do anything. Sore is just like, it's kind of like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So, from your professional perspective, like what is the most important type of strength for us to maintain as we age? And what's one Pilates inspired move we all could do at home to build it?
Well, I think that strength is kind of relative, right? So, like, if you are somebody that gardens, right? So that means you're out there, you probably get on your hands and knees and dig around and do stuff. So you have to have a body that will allow you to get down and get back up, right? And maybe you got to carry bags of soil or, watering cans or whatever. That probably weigh more than 5 or 6 pounds at a time, right? So that's the kind of strength that you're looking for. You need to be able to get up and down and carry 10 pounds, 15 pounds worth of stuff, right? So you've got to do like squats and lunges, right? Because that's what getting down on the ground is you're squatting down and you're getting down onto your knees and maybe you're doing 4-point kneeling stuff, which is what we do a lot in Pilates. And then you got to be able to pick up some weight, right? Like it drives me crazy when people come into a studio and you tell them to pick up weights and they pick up a 1 and a 2. I'm like, my water bottle weighs more than that, right? So like you picking up a 1 and a 2 is not like, it's not really a weight. Like, think about the things that you do during the day. Do you carry a purse? It probably weighs 5, 6, 7 pounds. If you're a student, you've got a backpack on, right? Like that probably weighs 15, 20 pounds. If you're putting stuff in you go to Costco and you buy the big dog food, there's a good chance it weighs 20, 30 pounds, right? So you got to be able to pick up stuff in your daily life. And in order for you to pick up stuff in your daily life, your workout has to reflect what it is that you do in your daily life. So you picking up a 5-pound weight and you carrying around 20 pounds of dog food, that doesn't translate. You got to pick up 20 pounds. Like you got to do the work so that you can live your life. And if you garden or if you're a painter and you're up all day, then you got to think about not slouching and you got to find ways to be lengthening through your spine, right? Like whatever your life looks like, that's what your workouts should reflect. Like you want to get strong to do the things that you do on the daily, right? So that's what your workout should be. In Pilates, like there's so much, but we call it the series of 5. It's an ab series where you do single leg stretches and then you do a single leg or a long legged or a scissor. You do lower lifts and you do crisscross. Like the core is like the middle of the body and then the limbs are attached, right? So working on core strength will help you do the other things in your life. So that's what I would suggest is the series of 5 for Pilates exercise. And then what's not really Pilates, but is the plank. Like everybody should plank. At one time I planked, my longest plank is 24 minutes. You should be able to plank. So there's that.
What the heck? 24-minute plank?
Yeah. We did like this
God,
plank challenge. And so,
are you even human?
but you know what?
That's
Like
crazy.
when I did that, I started a challenge. I think it was a couple of years ago. I think it was during COVID. I started like this Facebook challenge where we were going to plank 1 minute for 1 minute every day. And it could be like, maybe you held it for 10 seconds and then you held it for 10 seconds more. And anyway, we got up to holding a plank up to 12 minutes because we did 1 minute a day in January, 2 in February. Like that's kind of my thing. And so when we did the plank, when I did my 24-minute plank, I think it was like October. So I was primed and ready to go. And so like, you just got to find
Yeah.
challenges in your life. That's like, it's a mental game that I play with myself that has seemed to work. And I can find my way into some pretty crazy accomplishments if I find a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love me a good challenge. So I think that's a great way to look at it. Okay. So looking back, So, what has this journey from using fitness to heal to competing to teaching to running daily taught you about yourself?
Honestly, that I'm worth it and that I matter and that I have a purpose. And my journey, when I share, like, I'm just out there being me, right? And people hear that, oh, you run every day or you do this, it gives them, like, some people look at me and I think I could probably do something like that too. So I kind of feel like I can motivate people without like shoving it down their throat, right?
Mhm.
Like you just got to start and, find something that, you're willing to try and see if you can do it for 30 days in a row. And then you never know what happens. I've learned through all of this that like I do matter and there's a reason I'm here. And I'm glad that I am. That's what I've learned.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Yeah, and you are kind of like the challenge. Like if you just think what's a challenge, just look up Rhonda Kirwan and you'll be like, there's my challenge. Like try to keep up with her if you can do that. And then if you surpass her, then now Rhonda has a new challenge that she's got to.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love
totally.
it. Yeah. Okay. So now you're shaping other trainers and countless clients.
Mhm.
What's the core message or principle you hope to pass on to everyone you teach?
That we can all do hard things and we can all make a difference. And we all, I don't know, like, we're just like this community of people. And if we just work together and help each other to do hard things, then we're all going to be in a much better place. Like the people that I teach classes to, like my members that come to the studio, I'm always talking about let's do hard things. Let's be bold, be brave, right? Like, let's get out there and live life. And then my people that I teach to become instructors, I want them to, find their voice and be able to teach Pilates to the masses, but to also teach in such a way that they create strong people. Like what we do in the studio, we want to be able to take outside the studio and live life with. So, like, don't make it easy in the studio. Like that's not going to help them outside those four walls. Like you got to be able to like live life, and to live life you got to like be willing to be bold, be brave, and do hard things. Like it's a thing. So that's my
Yeah.
mantra.
Love that. I love that you're like when I met you, you were like doing real estate and
Hmm.
like totally different profession, which you were damn good at it. For to see that you've shifted and you're in this, and not that you weren't helping people with real estate because you helped me with real estate, but you are impacting people in such a big way, and you're teaching other people how to impact people in such a big way too. That's
Yeah,
just so it makes me so happy, so happy. I love it.
makes me happy too.
So good. Yeah, it should, it really should.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? Like, what do you have a goal for 2026? What's this year's goal?
Well, started. So obviously, I'm going to keep running every day. Obviously, I'm going to keep teaching Pilates, but I came up with a new challenge. And I found it on Instagram. I'm always inspired by other people. There's this guy that's doing like this treadmill challenge where how on a treadmill, it's got incline and it's got speed. And he made this graph and he's like, okay, I'll do a 1 incline at a 3 speed. And it's called the treadmill blackout challenge, right? So I was like, I can do that, right? And so then I created my own little board, but I took he's very focused and like training for it. I'm like, dude, I'm not training for that. I'm just gonna have a good time. So I have these 2 bags that I pull out a poker chip from, and I like, let's see what we're gonna do today. And so my goal is to try to clear out my board. So it's just something kind of fun and different. And like some of the days are fails because I can't run an 8-minute mile or a 8 speed, which is like a 7:30 mile on the treadmill. But that's right now, that's my challenge is my treadmill blackout challenge that, you know, people can follow along. I'm posting it on Instagram and I think Facebook, and my son told me to do it on TikTok. So I'm on TikTok. So there's that.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I've been following along. I love it. It's so great. I love it too, like, because you don't win every time. Like the one that you did, I think it was like a 9 mile per
Yeah.
hour speed with like a 3. 3 wasn't so bad as far as the incline, but the 9, I was like, how's she gonna do that? And then you didn't. And that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
amazing.
yeah. But that's how we live life, right? Like, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to meet the goal, but like, you can always go for it, right? Like, you can always try. You can always, like, do what you can to make it happen, because every time you try, that's progress, right? And then you just, every day is progress, right? So if I gave up because I failed, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, then I'm just going to be sitting on a couch somewhere. Like, be bold, be brave, do hard things.
Hmm.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a classic fail, but you learn. You learn something about yourself. You learn something about the process. Like, it's all a journey. Like, let's go for a ride. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so final question. What does
Yes.
fun to be fit over 50 mean to you?
It means that I'm just living life, and I hope to be fun to fit after 60, after 70, after 80, like 90. Yeah. Like, it's like a mindset, right? It's fun to be fit. Like, doesn't matter your age. And when you get over 50, then you can let go of, like, because we've kind of talked about it, but you kind of let go of what other people think so much about you. And it's more about how you feel and how you present yourself in the world, right? So you kind of can let go of the younger you who's more concerned about, comparing yourselves to somebody else, right? Now it's like, let's all be fun to be fit, right? And we can do it
Yes.
together. And then, you know, be
Mhm.
healthy. Like, because here's the deal. Like, I don't know, this is going to be probably controversial, but I don't know if you've noticed, but some of the younger people, they don't seem like like they're really big into like taking care of us older folk as we get older, right? So like, if I don't got anybody to take care of me, like, I got to take care of myself. So it better be fun to be fit, right? So there's that. Because that next generation, I don't know, they might send me out to pasture and I don't want to go out there. So we got to be able to take care of ourselves, right?
It's true. It's self-preservation.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to be fit, because I don't want to end up somewhere where, anyway, I want to
Yeah.
be able to take care of myself. So got to be, yeah, I don't want to rely on somebody else. Yeah.
I love it. Well, you're a huge inspiration to me, and
Mm,
I know to many people that follow you on social media and your friends and family. And like, I always knew you were driven from the time I met you because I helped you with competition, and your dedication to sticking to the plan, the one that you
yeah.
didn't always trust, but you did anyways. That you stood out. You stood
Yeah.
out as just a different caliber of athlete, really. Yeah, and I'm just so glad that you are willing to do this with me
Absolutely.
and just share with other people. Like, yeah, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to share something important. This podcast is all about sharing real life experiences, insights, and inspiration. But it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. I'm your cheerleader and fellow traveler on this journey, not your doctor. Everyone's body is different. What works for me or my guest might not be right for you. So please always check with your healthcare provider before starting any new fitness routine, changing up your eating habits, or trying something new. You know your body best, and partnering with a good doctor is part of taking care of that beautiful body of yours. This show is for educational and informational purposes only. By listening, you agree that you're ultimately responsible for your own health decisions. Now go out there and have some fun being fit.